morning, Nigeria. Good morning, FCT. Welcome to another exciting edition, or, permit me to say your favorite show, talking about Daybreak Extra this beautiful Saturday morning. I am Dashan Husseina Osman, and I'm your host today. Now, as we all know, if you've gone out today, you would notice that, the weather is a little bit on the cold side, and there's a lot of haze. So even if you're driving this morning, please make sure that you can clearly see the roads before you move to avoid any form of accidents. Okay, so today promises to be exciting. Today promises to be superb. We have lots of interesting stories and information lined up for you on Daybreak Extra today. But before we go into the first segment of the day, we'll take a quick break and we'll be back in a jiffy. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Yes, it is still Daybreak Extra on Trust TV. Now we'll start with fun facts. Now, this is a segment where, we reel out some facts that you might or you might not know. And today we have something very, very interesting, and it has to do with something that happened in January 2019. Now, a man apparently trying to kidnap a woman on the street, followed her into a martial arts studio. He followed her into a martial arts dojo, and, after she escaped, imagine someone trying to kidnap you and you knowing about it, you being aware about it, and then you run into the nearest shelter that you can actually find, and it happens to be a martial arts dojo. But, it didn't actually stop there. Instead of him noticing that she actually, ran into the dojo, he followed her, and he was actually carried out in a stretcher, because when he went in and she told most of the people, or the people, learning or teaching martial arts there, they actually dealt with him, and he was carried out in a stretcher and hospitalized. That is actually a funny way to go. I'm sure once he comes out of the hospital, or once he came out of the hospital, he actually dropped kidnapping. All right, moving on to another fun fact for the day. In 2016, a senior man began to gain the trust of a Belgian bank by bringing the workers chocolate. An elderly man, coming to the banks, bringing chocolates, everybody loves gifts. Yes, everybody loves gifts. And, being an elderly man, nobody would actually suspect anything. But did you know that eventually this particular bank gave this man a VIP pass to their vault? Yes, they gave him a VIP pass or VIP access to the bank vault. And in 2007, yes, he performed a heist and he was not caught. Like, seriously, he stole $28 million worth of diamonds and he vanished into thin air. And, they searched for him, looked for him everywhere. They could not find him. He just, went off the grid, went off the radar. Now, if you ask me, that was a very successful heist. All right, still talking about more fun facts. In 1995, a man named Patrick Holmes, received a junk mail. And, the junk mail title was check. That's not, bank checks. I'm talking about CHECK. That's check. And, most times a lot of people ignore their junk mails. For me, when I go to my junk mail, I just delete everything, even though there's some important information that I might find there. But for the most part, it's just mails that are unimportant that are there. But he received a mail, with the title check for $95,000. And jokingly, he deposited it in his account, and through a series of bank errors, the check cleared and the cash was withdrawn and it became his. Wow. Would you say that was luck, or would you say, the banks didn't know what they were doing at the time? But that was when email was, let's just say technology wasn't as advanced as it was today, or as it is today, so that was actually what happened. But then, talking about fun facts, we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll take more fun facts. Stay tuned.
Get latest updates on current topical issues and breaking news by downloading the TrustTV mobile app on your Android devices. Go online, click Google Play Store, search TrustTV, install the app, and get doses of unfiltered information on happenings all over the world in your pocket. TrustTV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back. Still on Fun Facts on Daybreak Extra. Did you know that there is no word in English that rhymes with the word month? M-O-N-T-H. Month. I've actually racked my brain, I've cracked my brain, and I still cannot seem to find any word that actually does. I'm actually going to put the challenge out to you. If there's a word that actually rhymes with the word month, then lay it out. Month. I thought about moth, but there's no N in moth. I thought about length, but it doesn't really rhyme with month. I thought about ought. No, that's not it. But then, yes, it is a fact that there is no word in the English dictionary or even in English that rhymes with the word month. All right, moving on to the next fact, there is actually no scientific evidence confirming that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Everyone around, all the fit fams, everybody into exercise, everybody into dieting, keep saying breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And this is majorly because once you've had dinner, probably around 6 or 7, you end up sleeping for like a really long time. And when you wake up 6, it's like as if you've gone, or as if you've actually fasted. It is as if you've actually fasted. And then the most important thing for you to do is eat after you've fasted. So, that's why it's actually called breakfast, like break your fast. But then there is no scientific at all. There's nothing scientific about, breakfast being the most important meal of the day, which I believe, because if you look at it, if you've not had breakfast, you definitely have lunch. Lunch is also as important. If you've not had lunch, you definitely have dinner. So dinner is also as important. So, breakfast, lunch, dinner are all important meals, of the day. All right, moving on, we'll take the final fact. And it's about multitasking. Now, there's this age-long debate about women being able to multitask, as compared to men, women being able to, do more than one thing at the same time, compared to men and everything. You find a woman, she's cooking, she's washing at the same time, she's taking care of the child at the same time, she's cleaning the house, doing chores and everything. But did you know that multitasking is actually impossible? A lot of you, I know, will not believe me, but it is actually very, very impossible. And this is because most times when we think we're multitasking, we're actually context switching. And what does context switching mean? It actually means we're switching back and forth between multiple tasks rather than, doing the same thing at the same time. Which actually makes more sense, because if you find you have to actually stop one thing before moving on to the other thing. So that is not multitasking, because multitasking is doing different things at the same time. But since you're switching, you're moving from one thing to another, coming back, going back and forth and all that, it is definitely context switching. All right, with that, we'll wrap up fun facts for the day. And then when we come back after this break, we'll move on to the next segment, which is Fairly Odd. Stay tuned.
Get latest updates on current topical issues and breaking news by downloading the TrustTV mobile app on your Android devices. Go online, click Google Play Store, search TrustTV, install the app, and get doses of unfiltered information on happenings all over the world in your pocket. TrustTV, documenting the Nigerian story.
still talking Daybreak on Trust TV, and look who decided to join us. Oh my goodness!
I didn't just decide to join us.
Okay.
I didn't just decide.
Okay.
There were mitigating circumstances that I had to negotiate.
So you came to speak English for us
very
here
dicey
this morning.
situation. Very dicey situation. Well, it is Daybreak Extra, so everything is on extra now. Even the English
Even
is
the
extra.
English.
Exactly. So everything is extra now.
Okay, still talking about English. You know, we just rounded up fun facts, and in one of the facts, there is no English word that rhymes with the word month.
Month.
Yes. Can you think of any? Month. M-O-N-T-H.
That's a tough one. But if it's confirmed that there's no word, we'll find out.
But the fact that it's confirmed doesn't mean you can't
But
do your own research to find
yes,
out.
Well, you can do your own research, or you can just simply conjure up your own word. Yes.
Like lunt.
Or run.
What does lunt
Run.
or want?
If you run, that means you're running towards the month. Or you're running away from it.
A lengthy month. A lengthy month can be length. Yes, that's my English word.
How do you classify a month as lengthy? If it's
Like,
more than
okay,
21
like
days?
January.
Well, it's just
Yeah, a month
it
that
just
seems
has a
long.
feeling, exactly.
Yes,
It's just a
it's
feeling
long.
that it's
Okay,
long.
yes, January is a lengthy month.
So I think it's something. Well, we can conjure up our own.
Okay.
And,
All right, so let's move on to fairly odd. Fairly odd. Now, what is you know, a lot of people, there are lots of gestures, you know, that couples actually exhibit when they're in a relationship, you know, and love makes you do a lot of things. You'd agree with me.
lots of crazy things.
Lots
Just
of
say
crazy.
it.
Have you done any
Exactly.
crazy thing for love?
I've done a lot of
The
things.
crazy
I've done
things people do for love. You have? Please tell us.
No.
I'm interested in hearing.
No.
Please.
Most of it is not for TV.
Oh, okay. No. We want censored crazy things. Okay? All right. So now there's this particular young man in Egypt who took out all his teeth and presented them to his girlfriend. And that was an act of love for him. I've actually heard stories of someone in China buying like 100 or 1,000 iPhones, you know, and, you know, just making them in a shape, in love shape, and proposing to his girlfriend. I've heard lots of, you know, very, very interesting and funny, you know, love gestures. But this has to be the height.
Well, this is a grand gesture. I mean, like, he's literally giving her parts of his body.
Can't,
I mean, like-
what about, you know, clipping off his nails and giving it to her?
I mean, like, it's a grand
It's part of his
gesture.
body as well.
It's a grand gesture. I mean, like, it extreme, you know, how it goes to show how deeply he values her.
Okay, so so do you think?
wait.
Okay, but what do you think? Because we actually don't know about her reaction to you know all of this.
exactly what
So
it
what
was.
do you think her reaction would have been?
Ordinarily,
was?
Well, she will probably be shocked initially,
But
and then finally she'll get to see that it was a
nah,
grand.
do you know
It's a
there are
grand
lots of
gesture of
there are
love.
lots of Nigerians performing grand gestures these days, you know, and
Yes.
then they end up getting turned
Yes,
down.
you see, there's this thing I actually wanted us to talk about, but maybe we'll look at it in subsequent.
go
you know,
ahead.
this
Proposals.
spate of
Proposals
Yes.
going wrong.
You
I
understand?
think some of them are just acting because I see no reason why I fail to understand why you would date someone for a really, really long time. You know, what's the expectation after dating or courting? Do you get marriage
yeah. Well, it all depends.
on?
Different people go into different relationships for different
Yes,
reasons.
it needs to be defined in the beginning.
Well, so I
Yes.
think there's the lack of the definition that is what brings about these kind of things. Maybe he has a wrong idea of what the relationship means, and then he goes, he makes a grand gesture, he proposes publicly, and he gets rejected.
But I think if it were me, I would actually reject him if he comes with his teeth.
I mean,
Because
like,
think about the pain he must have gone through.
exactly.
Do you understand?
And he
for
went
the grand
through that
gesture.
for you.
You know, even if, you know, the teeth or the mouth is numb, you
Mm-hmm.
still feel something being pulled out of your
Exactly,
skull.
and just-
You know, and you come with it looking like an old man
Man.
without teeth. I will not accept
Ah,
you.
no,
But
no.
I feel you should actually, if you're going to do something that grand, ask me. Talk to me.
But if I talk to you, then why? It's not. It's
Why
not, it's not
do
a
you,
surprise
okay,
anymore. It's
why
not a
do you
grand
feel the
gesture.
need to actually, you know, go through that or
It's
exhibit
the
that?
ultimate sacrifice. It's the ultimate.
No, the ultimate
show
sacrifice
of love.
is death. That's the ultimate sacrifice.
It's the semi-ultimate. Right? It's the mini-ultimate sacrifice. Giving her a part of his body or parts of his body.
So how would he speak to me?
Exactly.
How?
You'll probably write it down or something.
Like, no, I wouldn't take that. But then, you know, moving on to the next, you know, the next odd thing. Yes. A woman was almost used for money ritual by her husband. You know, there's this belief that Africans have that, you know, if you want to make money, you sacrifice someone you love and all that. Even a lot of Nigerian Nollywood movies actually project that particular fact.
Exactly.
And you hear a lot of stories, you know, in most parts of the countries, you know, he used his mother for rituals, he used his son for rituals,
Exactly.
he used his wife for ritual and everything. But this particular guy came out, you know, on social media saying that he knows for a fact that there's a lady who her husband wanted to use her for money ritual. And do you know the funny thing is she didn't leave him. They're still together till now.
Also, he attempted to use her for the ritual.
He attempted
it didn't work out.
No, he attempted to use her for the ritual, but the dibia or the
Yes.
the babalao
Exactly.
requested for his son instead.
Okay.
Yes,
So,
requested for his son, and he said no, he couldn't do that.
okay.
So he was willing to sacrifice his wife and not his child.
And then they sat down and talked about it, and they found out it was okay. And they
No, not how would you say this? I talked about it. He probably found out some way. Yeah, she
Okay.
probably found out some way and all that, and she still stayed. And funny enough, I actually know of someone I've heard of in Kaduna,
something like that.
but she didn't
happened.
stay. Yes, she didn't stay. She ran for her life.
Yes, well, the most logical reaction or the most logical thinking is that once you find something like this, you will run for your life. So that's what makes it odd, because this one decides to stay. But still, you need, you know, the dynamics of relationship. It's just between the people inside that relationship. You know, so nobody knows the dynamics of their relationship. What actually kept them together after going through an ordeal
True that.
like that. You understand? So we shouldn't be too quick to judge. Yes, she probably has her own reasons.
What kind of reason could that be?
I have absolutely no
Okay, so
idea.
now you found out that your wife wanted to use you for money rituals. Would you stay? She was willing to sacrifice you.
I wouldn't stay.
No, stay now.
I wouldn't stay.
Stay now.
I wouldn't stay, but maybe they found a middle ground somewhere. Or maybe she tried to use him for the ritual in the first place and it didn't work out. And then he tried and it didn't work out. So, all right, so fine, we're even now. So that's it, no more rituals. And then maybe decide to pact or something. But it's the dynamics of a relationship, you really can't say.
Honestly, because you know, if you can't understand how, you know, a relationship, you know, filled with violence, you know, like talking about domestic violence.
Exactly.
If the man keeps beating, hitting on the woman,
And
and then
still
she stays,
Exactly.
you can never really understand.
So that's the thing.
All we
you know?
can say is may God protect us in our marriages
Exactly.
and give us a peaceful one, by the way, and a
Exactly.
content one.
That we don't have to go start making rituals.
Yes,
to be able
very
to-
content one.
make money.
All right. So, what is this craze about women or men feeling the need to go through their spouse's phones?
Well, usually, I don't want to sound, sexist because I am a feminist, self-confessed. But usually it's the women that have that issue.
Men too.
Some,
Yes,
but
some men.
most women.
Yes, some
Yes.
men, but most. Okay,
Most
so
women
so
actually
what
have-
is the need?
have-
Why do they feel the need? Why do they feel that urge? Trust issues,
Yes.
insecurity.
Insecurity. I think that's the number one thing, because
Okay.
insecurity actually breeds all these things. You know, it breeds trust issues and the feeling you need to know, and yes. All
But you
these
know, is
things.
it possible for you to be in a secure relationship and still feel that way?
No.
Still feel the need that no, because you know everything is working out perfectly. There's
Something
something
must be
wrong.
wrong,
Yes.
exactly. He
A
must-
lot of people actually feel that
he
way
must
as
be
well.
lying.
Yes.
Because everything is fine.
And then you want to go through the phone to catch
Exactly.
him or her.
Doing what
Something.
God knows what. Doing God knows what. With whom. So, well, you need, you know, it all boils down to insecurity, I feel. You understand? The person actually doesn't feel secure in the relationship and has a couple of complexity issues, you know. So that's where it stems from. So it brings about this trust issues and whatnot, and the feeling that I need to catch you doing something. Or
Okay,
something must be wrong.
being in a previous insecure relationship can actually do that to you as well.
Yes, that's you're actually projecting a past experience.
fail to
on
realize,
the
yes,
person, because
yeah.
you feel like, okay, fine, maybe in the previous relationship you gave everything, you know, you were trusting and everything like that, and at the end of the day it turned out to not be that kind of situation anymore. And well, subsequently, you say, I'm
Or you
trying
start
to
to think
protect
all
myself.
men, yes,
I'm
all
trying
men
to
are like
protect
that.
myself, or all women are like that. You understand? So you try to be insecure, hiding in the
So no
bushes,
feminist.
hiding in the bushes, and yes, you know, I try to.
You know, stalking and everything.
Exactly.
Or, you know, tapping their phones and all that.
Exactly, and following them wherever they go, going through their mail, going through their phones, going through their computer. You know, it's I think it's wrong in so many different levels. You know, because I think whatever it is you're looking for, if you dig deep enough and you look hard
You'll
enough,
find
you'll
it.
find it.
You will find
You'll
it.
definitely find it. But if you find it, then what happens?
Exactly. No, you actually need to think about that before, you know, embarking on that adventure.
But 9 times out of 10, it is not thought through. Or I just pick up the phone, I want to find out whatever.
And then
is going on,
sometimes
I
even
want to
what you
it.
see might not be what you think.
Exactly, but because that is what you're looking for, that is exactly what you'll see. No matter how innocent it is, whatever it is you find on the telephone.
Well, the height of it is the lady who, you know, performed plastic surgery on her face to look like her husband just to unlock his phone.
Now that's extreme.
You know, spending so much money just to go through your husband's phone.
That's seriously extreme. But just like I said earlier, we don't know the dynamics of their relationship. You don't know what kind of guy he was or he is. You understand? And maybe he has given her reason to actually believe that stuff is going down somewhere. And
Or not.
Or not. Yeah, but that's the only way she can find out. If she doesn't have access to his phone, she can't
Has
find
she
out.
tried talking to him? Because sometimes, you know, you can actually corner a man, ask him questions, and then from his facial expression, you know if he's lying or
We
not.
just talked about a lie detector test.
You
a
will
couple
know
of-
if he's
a couple
lying or
of
not.
weeks back.
I've actually done that and it worked.
Really? Really? So you're a spy master now.
That's a new profile, eh?
So you're a spy master
Yeah,
now.
you can call me that.
Okay. I see.
Profiled his face.
And you caught him.
Yeah.
And it was true.
No, he couldn't even lie in that moment. He could not lie because
But
yeah.
maybe you just caught him unawares.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
exactly.
it
That's
happens.
the whole
So that's the
idea.
thing. So you ambushed him.
Unawares. Yeah, and I was.
You didn't use any
looking at
profiling
his
tactics.
eyes,
You just ambushed
and
the
he
guy.
didn't know if I had an idea or not.
You ambushed the young man. That was what you did. That's not cool.
All right.
That is so uncool.
Okay. All right, so we'll go on we'll take a quick breather, and when we come back, we'll take more odd stories. Stay tuned.
Get latest updates on current topical issues and breaking news by downloading the TrustTV mobile app on your Android devices. Go online, click Google Play Store, search TrustTV, install the app, and get doses of unfiltered information on happenings all over the world in your pocket. Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back to Daybreak Extra this lovely Saturday morning. And of course, we're right here in the studio. Darshan and I have been talking about a couple of odd things here and there, spitballing, having a little conversation, banter. And of course, I'm trying to balance the act between who does what, when, how, and how often.
You're trying to play devil's advocate.
Yeah, well, I always try this. There are always two sides to a story, and those are the kind of things that I need to.
Yeah, but sometimes it's just one.
No.
From two different people. One side, two different people.
If you say so, that's an argument.
If I do say so myself, I do say so myself.
So actually, right now we're being joined in the studio. We've been joined in the studio by a very good friend of ours who just decided to drop in and say hello on Daybreak Extra this lovely morning. Saeed is here with us this morning, and today we will be talking on the show, just spitballing. How are you this morning?
Not too bad. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, we pride ourselves on being very, very welcoming whenever situations like this arise. And of course, this is a family show, so
feel free to, be yourself.
Exactly.
Yes. So this is actually Said Hussein, and he is a researcher. So let's find out if, a researcher has what it takes, to...
Research.
we call ourselves, we pride ourselves, and we call ourselves gossips.
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
We love gossips. Very important.
When you look at it now, research is a kind of gossip.
Yeah, true. Very true.
Research is a kind of gossip.
Wouldn't you say really research is the opposite of gossip? Because
No.
Research starts from gossip. Let's say that.
And the curiosity
So
to
the
want
gossip-
to know.
So the gossip
it comes
More.
in. That's true.
and then So this is we have a number one gossip here amongst us. You understand? So we are talking about fairly odd things, and we just finished talking about the woman who actually did plastic surgery so she can have access to her husband's phone. Have we finished talking about that?
Except Said has something to say about it, but then we were asking each other, what's the craze behind people wanting to find out what's on their spouse's phones?
Right.
Said will say research.
Surely. Surely. Sorry, but so for some background, so she had to change her face to her
Yes.
husband's face. So now her and her husband are identical.
Yeah, they actually look alike.
Oh,
They look
interesting.
like they look like twins.
Wow.
Hussein Ada Hassan Kena.
Yeah.
Just like you and me.
No, we're not.
The
You're
resemblance-
16.
the resemblance is
You're
uncanny.
16 years.
Yes,
Yeah.
but still, I'm a younger version.
I think the research is inconclusive. How about that?
So it could be driven by research. It could be driven by other things as well. But that's the kind of world we live in. Anyway, moving on to other stories. In China, the police actually pulled over a vehicle.
Land of the weird.
Land of the world.
Just go ahead. Just go ahead. Yeah, he agrees with me, so just go ahead.
That's
I thought that was Florida.
That's Florida.
What? You thought it was what?
Florida.
Is
Florida.
is it
No,
Florida?
Florida.
Where?
When you say
Yeah.
China, it's a whole continent,
What?
right? But Florida is just a state.
Sure.
I told you about Florida last week.
Yes, we did speak about Florida, but the jury is still out. on
Florida
that.
man.
Yes.
Florida woman.
So you understand. So in southern China, actually, the cops spotted a white van. It was driving in and out of traffic, and it was causing multiple traffic issues. You understand? So they pulled over the car, and when they pulled over the vehicle and they actually gained access to it, there was a blob. That was how they described it. There was a blob of human beings crammed into that particular vehicle. It had like 40 people crammed inside.
Okay, so it's actually meant to be like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like a 10-seater bus
Right.
with 40 people cramped into it. And it made it difficult for the driver to actually, drive really well because he
yeah.
couldn't see behind.
No, that's dangerous. Yeah.
And then even most of them, because of how full it was, they kept, pushing him, to the wheel and everything. So 40 people. So after the cops actually, pulled the car over, they told them, please come out,
Yes.
line up,
Line up
just
on the
keep coming.
sidewalk.
They kept coming out one after the other. It was really surprising because there were no seats in the bus. So they were all standing. And funny enough, they're actually construction workers, because of, the distance from where they live
Exactly.
to their construction site,
So they
talking
had to-
about
they had to carpool.
transportation costs
Exactly.
and everything.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
They
this
had
one
to
will be
carpool.
carpool. You know how clowns, you can actually see 20 clowns in one small vehicle,
Exactly.
bent and everything. This was
Exactly.
how it was, but let's have a look at the video.
those are the scenes there actually from that clown car.
Yeah, you can call it that.
Yes, that clown car incident. And you know, surprisingly, there were actually 39 men and
One woman, yes. So why did she stand?
Maybe she was the driver.
No, she wasn't. I doubt that. All right, so let's find out what Saeed has to say about this whole, scenario.
Well, I mean, it's a slightly sad one. Of course, it means that these people are forced to do that because surely I don't think anyone, probably even, okay, maybe with the exception of certain clowns, desires to pack into, a car to that extent. So, surely it says something about, limited alternatives and this plight of workers in a country that it was forced to or has kind of put a lot of pressure on a certain class of people in order to develop so quickly.
Exactly, and they have so many people.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
China has so many people.
There's
They have a family to
question.
feed.
Yes,
They're
exactly.
probably not being paid, minimum wage.
Sure. So you
You
have to
know.
cut corners in order to get to work. Maybe save a
What-
little bit here and there.
But I know, this is actually grounds for, an arrest and everything. But do you think they should be arrested?
The workers themselves, the
Yes.
people in the car.
Yeah.
I mean, probably not. I suspect, one would have to do some research, of course, but I suspect, I suspect that there's probably more to it. Why
Yes.
would people put themselves in that situation? If they
That was
didn't
what I
have
was
to?
going. That was what I was driving.
When
at. I
you
mean,
say more
let's
to
look
it,
at the
like what?
context. Well, there has to be a context to the actual situation. We're assuming, okay, fine, these are construction workers. They're trying to carpool, get to work and back, and maybe save a few bucks. But we don't know what the dynamics actually are. There's probably a backstory to all of this. You understand? But coming back to your question, of course, it's ground for arrest. No matter what it is, no matter what reason it is you have. I mean, like the law is the law. You understand? Yeah, morally, you might say, okay, fine, maybe we should leave these guys be. But I mean, legally, it's
There
not
should be
wrong.
empathy as well.
There should be, but the law is the law. As well.
Yeah,
You
but
break the law, you
even
get
even
it.
in the law,
Yeah.
there should still be, the law enforcers should still be empathetic, towards people's plights.
Absolutely. And if they arrest, arrest of whom? Is it who has broken the rule?
Because when you arrest them, imagine arresting 40 people and expecting them to bail themselves. Where would they
Right.
get the money? If they actually had that, had money lying around, they wouldn't have, cramped up
in
into
the
that
first
bus.
place, yeah.
Well. as I said,
Yeah, devil's
the law
advocate.
is the
Wait,
law.
Ibrahim, what's wrong with you?
The law is the law. You understand? No matter what reason you have, the law is the law. You understand?
That's all you
I'm
have
not-
to say.
I'm not
The
saying,
law is the law.
I'm not saying that people should not be empathetic. Of course, I'm all for empathy and everything like that. But still, laws are actually made for a reason. Just like we gave the context. When they were driving, they were causing all sorts of traffic havoc. You understand? They could have hurt somebody.
So will they allow them, cramp back into the bus?
They should.
Or how will they get to their
They
destination?
walk.
They walk.
Yes. They walk.
But one thing I know is that the Chinese actually have, all these bicycles, lying around. All you have to do is like pay an amount of money, and then you have access to one of the bicycles, and then you can drive to whatever, ride to whatever it is you want.
Well, I
to go
guess
to.
that's the thing. It depends on the amount of money and also the distance you're trying to cover. So,
And then if you're tech savvy as well.
Yes, so you probably need
So that's the thing.
a smartphone.
So that's the thing. I mean, like, these are construction workers. Really,
Right, yeah.
Really. So, anyway, the law is the law.
Okay, all right. Moving on to the next story. Yes, it is allowed for you to, when you're entering a bus, we're still talking about buses, by the way. When you're about to enter a bus, what are you supposed to do? Even BRT buses in Lagos and, normal buses that we have around, you're supposed to pay your bus fare before, entering the bus to drive you to your destination and everything. And there's this particular guy, he was actually drunk when he decided to, enter the bus. He paid his money and everything. But for some reason, when the bus conductor, went round checking for tickets and all that, he found this man. I don't know. He probably saw him in his dream or, the look of the man actually irked him or something. I'm really not sure. But this man met up with the drunk guy and asked for his ticket, and then he gave him ticket. You know how some law enforcement men, let me not say men, law enforcement officers try to find a fault. Like, show me your particulars. It's okay. Show me your driver's license. Let me check, if your tires have expired. Like they try to find a fault. They must, I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Do you get?
Yeah.
So this particular ticket, the conductor tried to find a fault with that man. And luckily for the conductor, the guy had a pigeon. Yes, he had a pigeon with him in the bus. And this man went on to ask for the pigeon's ticket.
Yes.
Like seriously, who does that?
Yes.
Who does that? No, there are buses where pets are not allowed and everything, but pets are actually allowed, and it's a pigeon, for God's sakes.
Surely you should ride for free, right?
Like, yeah. Is the pigeon a citizen? Does the pigeon pay taxes?
But the owner of the pigeon is a citizen.
So you have to pay for the pigeon?
Taxes. Of course you have to pay for the pigeon. If the pigeon doesn't want to pay for the bus, then
How?
fly, exactly.
How?
Let it fly to where it's going to. I mean, like, he has wings.
But the pigeon isn't sitting on its own seat.
Exactly.
It's sitting on the passenger.
Exactly. You have a lot of women, with their children sitting on their laps, and they only pay one person's fare.
We can't be too sure that the pigeon wasn't sitting. Can't be too sure.
So if the pigeon was sitting on a different seat, then it's possible that it was just an extra seat. So anyone that comes and needs a seat, the pigeon has to.
Still, he occupied that space at that time, which means another person cannot sit at that particular place. So you pay for the pigeon. Yes, if you have a pigeon, you pay for it.
See how cute the pigeon looks, like innocent pigeon.
So that's the thing.
Very
You
nice
see,
looking
the pigeon sitting on or should I say standing on a seat.
Okay,
with a
but then,
newspaper.
what
inside
size
it.
of non-human creature do you charge? So will you charge bacteria or viruses or
Well, you can't see
Microorganisms.
Well, you can't see
Microorganisms.
You can't see
So
those,
then it's all about size.
and nobody is claiming ownership of those,
Right.
right? Now, if I decide I went to the market and I bought a chicken, and I carried my chicken inside the bus, I should be willing to pay for that chicken.
Right.
You understand? Or if I buy a goat,
No, but do you know that if you're riding a bus, right,
Mm.
you actually have access to a certain, weight.
Yeah.
You understand? A certain kilogram of
Luggage.
goods, luggage. Yes. So the pigeon is. All right. So the conductor actually stated that he had not issued the pigeon a ticket because the drunken passenger did not board the bus with the bird. So apparently.
So it was not
The
his
bird flew in.
it was not his bird.
It wasn't his bird.
So fine.
So instead, the pigeon landed on the window ledge, and the man simply grabbed it.
Probably one.
That's his soft side.
We don't know what he wanted to do with the pigeon.
And then he said, the conductor actually cited, an official government rule, and the rule states that conductors must charge an additional 1/4 of the standard fare for any passenger transporting 30 pigeons. So it has to be 30 and above. But you just have one.
The law is the law, as someone said.
No, but you just have one pigeon. It has to be 30 and above
Yes,
for you to
but
charge.
exactly. But the thing
Based
is,
on the law, the pigeon rides free.
But the thing is, did the drunken guy claim ownership of the pigeon? We don't know that. Yeah. If he claims ownership of the pigeon, then if you're supposed to pay
I have a feeling what you're saying will make sense, but continue.
I'm not. I'm going home.
No, seriously, because you're what are you calculating?
I'm
Like
trying to
seriously,
calculate. You're supposed to pay 1/4 if you're transporting 30.
30 pigeons.
Exactly. So then, if one out of 30 is what, then we do the
no, if it's 29, you're not paying anything. If it's 28, you're not paying anything. If it's 1, in fact.
They really need to look at that law. They really need to look at it. I mean, like, how can a pigeon ride for free? It has wings, for God's sake. Fly.
It's tired of flying now.
Why?
It wants to chill.
Then walk.
It wants Can you walk? Why didn't you walk to work today? Just a simple question, but you don't need to answer that.
I will not answer. I refuse to answer that question.
Okay, so do you have anything else you want to say?
No, I think, pigeons ride for free.
Exactly. So even puppies, dogs and cats ride for free, not talk of pigeons. All right, so we'll take this quick break and we'll be back in a bit. Stay tuned.
Get latest updates on current topical issues and breaking news by downloading the TrustTV mobile app on your Android devices. Go online, click Google Play Store, search TrustTV, install the app, and get doses of unfiltered information on happenings all over the world in your pocket. Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Drum roll. What kind of co-anchor do I have? No, like seriously. When it's time for Gossip Report Card, we always look forward to this particular segment. And that's why I called for a drum roll.
Okay.
Yeah, just use your mouth.
I thought the drum roll was for me.
No, not for you, for me. Come on. What do you mean? All right. So gossip. We love the segment. And we have a few gossips to share with you today. Talking about trending stories on social media, a lot of things happening in and around, within and outside Nigeria. All right. So we're going to start with Femi Falana.
Okay.
Yes. For those of you who don't know, Femi Falana is actually Falz the bad guy's dad. Yes. Bob Daddy's dad. Okay.
Bob Granddaddy.
Yeah, Bob Granddad. Oh, yeah, you've got that right. Okay, and there's this particular video of his dad, that's Femi Falana, that actually went viral. That's from years back, and we all know that he's a lawyer. He's an SAN, a very, 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 very popular one at that. So, a video went round. Let's just have you see the video before we move into whatever it is. So just stay tuned.
Yes, witness, can you tell the panel your name?
What? Femi Falana is my name.
Where do you live?
Well, I think you know where I live. I live in Lagos.
This is my big client.
My lord, we live together in Lagos. Not in this tribe, somewhere else.
Petitioner, what do you do for a living?
I'm a legal practitioner. You are being recorded. Yes, go on. Don't look at us.
You sent a petition.
All right, so that was Femi Falana and his wife in court, So, to just, gave the courts a fun feeling, at that time, a fun time at that time.
Exactly.
She asking him questions she already has answers to, and him having to answer these questions strictly because it is official.
Yeah, exactly. What happens at home stays at home. Yeah? What happens in the office is in the office. You understand? So, and they did try to balance the two, and I think it worked out very well.
But I think for the most part, Femi Falana is a funny man, and I think that's where Falz actually got his a funny side, his comic side, because him saying, I think I know where you, I think I think you know where I live. I live in Lagos. We both live together in Lagos and everything. Just made it fun. But they actually brought back to reality. Stating that this is actually a serious meeting and not in this court and everything. But not after everyone actually had a good laugh.
Exactly.
Clearly, professionals should also include some humor in their work. Because,
it helps ease the stress.
Lighten the mood and surely makes people, more comfortable with whatever you have to then say.
Exactly. And even researchers, actually.
And we know of a lot of couples who have actually met, at the same workplace and all that. But, how do they actually balance their work-life?
Work-life balance. Well, it all depends on the individuals, I think. It all depends on the individuals and the kind of work that they do. Some actually are involved in very high-stress jobs, and they can't help but bring those excess stress and that excess baggage from work with them back home. You understand? But some are actually able to create a dichotomy. That's the office. This is home. It's even more dynamic when the lady is the boss. Yeah, you understand?
Okay, we've actually seen cases where the ladies have to resign from the jobs just because office relationship and everything might not work. We've seen cases where ladies had to resign so the man stays, and is either they go back home, start a business, or just look for jobs elsewhere. Do you think that's necessary?
That probably strikes me as unfair, in context where women probably earn less and have not as good job prospects. So if anyone, you would think the man should resign.
Exactly. That was what I was going to
The
say.
man should resign. Why should the man resign? He's meant to be the breadwinner.
Exactly. The man, but he can go out, he can hustle.
Okay.
You understand? And just like he said, I believe there are probably more opportunities out there for the man, but she already has this job. Let her hold on to it. All right? You quit, you go. Go out there and see what the world has for you.
Of course, optimally, there should be rules that make it such that these kinds of things can happen in a consensual way, and then people can come to arrangements that are suitable for the workplace in general.
Exactly.
No one has to
exactly. Usually most workplaces just ban these kind of things. You understand? They tell you that there's no office, whatever. And if you guys decide to do it, then one of you has to go. So basically, it's left for you guys to decide who does the
Who
leaving.
goes and who
and
leaves.
9 times out of 10 is the woman that does the leaving.
Even if
Because-
she earns more or if she's in a higher,
exactly.
But
exactly.
do you think that's fair?
That-
If
it's
if
not.
the woman is actually a manager and you're like what do you call it? Let's paint the scenario like banking scenario now.
yeah.
The lady is the manager and you are like a teller,
Mhm.
person
She-
and
Nora, She's a
everything.
banker, you are a bank worker.
Oh, that's mean. She's also a bank worker. She's also a bank worker.
There's a difference between a
The
banker
bank-
and a bank
Haba.
worker.
All right, but in that case,
Yeah.
most men would rather the lady resigns.
Yes, that's what I said. I said 9 times out of 10 is the lady that actually resigns. But I don't think it's supposed to be like that. I don't think it's supposed to be like that. Yes, just like I keep on saying, it depends on the dynamics of the relationship. It depends on the particular situation, But it shouldn't be a given that if this thing happens, then the woman goes. Why should it be so? Because she gets to stay at home if nothing works out. You understand? But if the guy leaves, unless he already has the mindset of being a house husband in the first place, you understand? He will go out there. He will hustle out. He will find things to do. He can do a lot of things.
But that doesn't happen to a lot of men these days either. You have a lot of men who have been out of jobs for a really, really long time, and they still cannot find their footing.
No, sure. There's high levels of unemployment, I think, across
So,
gender. But it's true that women face that disproportionately, unfortunately.
Exactly.
So we tend to assume, that domestic work will then absorb the
But do
women's
you
time.
know, when it comes to businesses, women actually do that more than men, and they make a
True.
lot of money doing that as well.
Yes, I can understand that. But still, it's still a big chance to take. You understand? And I don't think the woman should be put in that position to take that chance.
Okay.
You understand? Why shouldn't you? If I claim to be the head of the family and I'm supposed to protect this family, then I should be willing to put my own head on the chopping block for my family.
So in situations where, the man tells the woman, okay, you can stay on the job, I'll leave, and then he doesn't find a job in years to come, and she has to be the breadwinner. Women can actually deal well with that. They don't deal well with that.
But it all depends on individuals.
Do you understand? A woman being the only one, paying rent, feeding the family, school fees and all that. Women don't really deal well with that.
And some men don't deal well with that as well.
No, but, it comes with the gender. Yes, you get. So they should be able to deal with it better than the woman.
Yeah, what I'm saying is some men that are actually being taken care of by their women don't take it. So
Exactly.
Don't take it too well as well, and that puts a strain on the relationship. You understand? Because anything that she does, he will think that she's looking down on him because she pays the bills.
Most times, it's
You
what
understand?
happens. It's
You
not like
understand?
he will think.
You
It's
understand?
actually what happens.
Even if that's not the case, you understand? That's what the perception will be. And well, just like you said, most times that is the case. She'll start looking at him as...
Especially for women who are used to being pampered,
Right.
taken care of.
If she was already a banker and he was a bank worker.
Exactly.
That
that dichotomy has already been created. You understand? So that's the thing. All I'm saying is that in situations like this, it shouldn't be a given that the woman should be the one to leave. Yes, different circumstances will dictate how things happen, and it all depends on the individuals to be able to find a solution for themselves. But it shouldn't be a given that if situations like this happen, that she should be the one to go. You understand? And,
All right.
And of course, people like Femi Falana have shown us that you can actually work even
Yeah.
across from your wife. You understand? Because
And still have a healthy relationship.
Exactly.
It can even
because-
be better. It can
Yeah.
even be funnier,
that is the thing. Well, it all depends on the individuals, just like I said. You understand? So people might feel, okay, fine, maybe he's a defense attorney, she's a prosecution, working across the table might be difficult for some people. You understand? And sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. It all depends on the individuals. You understand? And we all know that it can work.
Okay, one quick question. Is it okay to be in a relationship in the same office and hide it?
I'll let the researcher.
Hey, researcher.
I'll let the researcher answer
Well,
that.
my work doesn't traditionally cover, my research doesn't traditionally cover this area, I have to say. But, of course, as you say, it depends on the individual to some extent. So, if it's a healthy, consensual relationship, and, it's one that perhaps could be more valuable than work, because, of course, we're here, some people would argue we're here on the planet to build relationships, to love, to actually, get to know people. So maybe that's more important than the particular employment situation. Maybe I'm
So in
being
that
quite
case,
romantic,
it's
but-
okay to hide, to keep the relationship.
Well, it all depends. You understand? Why are you hiding it? Are you hiding it because the law of the office says you cannot have the relationship?
Policy.
You understand? That is one. Are you hiding it because you want to avoid office gossip?
Gossip,
So
which will never stop.
exactly.
Which will be there anyway. Or protect the jobs of both people.
Exactly. So it all depends on why you believe there's a need for you to hide it, per se. So that will determine whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. But I don't really think that it is a bad thing per se. Only in a situation whereby maybe the law says you shouldn't, and we all know you can't. Matters of the heart, you can't really dictate what happens. You understand? Then you go, you meet someone, your colleague, you fall in love. But still, and you guys don't want to make the sacrifice of one of you having to leave. You understand? Because it'll probably put a financial strain on the both of you. So you'll try to keep it on the down low for as long as you can. You understand? Before maybe eventually coming out to the whole world. So it all depends on the situation.
All right, so before we go on a break, a big congratulations to Harry Songs. I am not really particular about his songs. Oh, did you get the rhyme? Oh my goodness.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, thank you very much. All right, yeah, but I love some. When he started and everything, his songs were, top notch and all that. We enjoyed, we grooved, we vibed to his songs and all that. But right now, I don't know. I think as they progress,
Yes.
they.
Sometimes it happens mostly to Nigerian artists. They come out with a bang, and then 1, 2, 3 albums, and then they start watering things down, and then they lose their way, and I think it's...
Yeah.
And we have a lot of one-hit wonders.
It does happen. Maybe people start to appeal to a new set of fans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The old fans don't feel like this. They feel
Exactly. So they'll lose touch with their old fans, and they won't be able to capture the attention of the new ones.
That's
So
why
they'll be left in a limbo.
consistency is key, honestly.
they'll be left in a limbo.
Yeah, so we're congratulating before we move on to consistency. Congratulations, Harry Songs. He got married last year, and his wife, delivered a baby girl. Very beautiful girl. I didn't see her, but I know babies are cute. All babies are cute as far as I'm concerned. Okay,
Yeah,
and
by default.
he's already named her the Viva.
Oh.
The Viva.
All right.
Okay.
What does that mean?
Okay, Shadi, go ahead.
Okay.
The Viva. The Viva is her name, okay? So, a big congratulations to him and his wife. So, moving on to consistency. Consistency is key. And one particular group that I know have been consistent over the years is P-Square. Yes, over the years, they've been dropping hits back to back. Two-Face is also one consistent person.
Yeah.
Who else? Who else? Please don't tell me you don't listen to
No, not that I don't.
Kode Kalangune. All right, Tiwa Savage, Wizkid, Burna Boy, they've been consistent, giving us hits back to back and all that. So, I don't understand. Yeah, but she has been, she's been consistent with her Mama Africa vibe and everything.
Well, so that's the issue, is that sometimes consistency also can start to feel stale.
Yeah, true.
If you do this, what feels like the same thing
Exactly, over and over again.
That's what Yemi Alade. But for people like Wizkid, Burner, and Tiwa, who mix the whole thing.
Sure.
Today
Yes.
they're R&B, tomorrow they're pop, Afro pop and everything, and then, infuse a little bit of rap and all that. And then they do a lot of features with other,
Artists as well.
up and coming
International.
artists as well. Timaya, he's been consistent, but these days.
No, you see the problem with artists like Timaya. I think they appeal to a certain group of fans or a certain section of fans. You understand, and they target everything towards that particular group. So they haven't really expanded their horizons to appeal to other people as well. You understand? If you're a fan of his, you're a fan of his.
Are you sure? What about this song he sang? When money no day.
Look,
It didn't appeal to you? Oh my goodness. Okay, I think it appealed more to elderly people. Okay, because money no really day. I mean,
When Money Day, that song wouldn't really appeal to you.
So money no day now. You understand? No, it's not really the song per se, and I think maybe it's just me and Timaya because I never really got the.
Okay, but is there a possibility that when something happens in their lives, like something negative happens, it affects their fan base? Is it possible?
Oh yeah, you mean like personal drama?
Yeah, personal drama,
it
negative ones. Yeah,
yeah.
Sometimes it does, but really sometimes it doesn't.
it's just the music for the
Exactly,
fan.
you understand?
Okay.
There are lots of guys lots of artists that even the P Square that you're talking about. They were
Yeah,
serious controversy.
yeah, and then the wife left Paul.
The wife left.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
left each other.
Yeah,
they
a
went
lot
back.
of-
Somebody-
And Two-Face as well.
Several issues.
Exactly,
Yeah.
but his guys are still. His fans are still
Yeah.
loyal.
So it boils down to the product. in a way,
Exactly,
you know?
it all boils down
So
to it.
give
You
us
know?
quality. That's all we care about.
I don't care whether you have 7 or 8 wives. I don't care if you have 19 children by 17 different women. Just give me the hits. You understand? What happens in your personal life is your personal life. You know. But sometimes it does really. But sometimes I believe it depends on the individual and it depends on what you give us.
Talking about hits, one particular hit that actually brought Two-Face to limelight was African Queen. And then, there was a controversy around the song saying that it was Blackface's,
yeah,
originally
Blackface
Blackface's song,
wrote
and
this,
Blackface actually gave him permission to sing the song and everything.
Yeah.
But then, did you know that Blackface sang his own version of African Queen? Like, was it this year? But 18 years later, Sha. Yeah, he did.
Oh, really?
And nothing changed. The only thing that changed was the beats.
Okay.
Yes, he said that was the original version. Like, it was meant to be like have this Jamaican vibe, this reggae vibe and everything. It was just the beats that changed, but everything, the way Two-Face sang it and all that. And then, it kept us wondering, why did you feel the need to sing it after 18 years? Why did you feel the need to still sing it after we'd already listened to the song? It has gone worldwide, it has a lot of awards have been won and everything. You came out with the song.
But it's his song.
Why did he sing it as a remix?
It's his song.
Yeah.
So, but there was nothing different.
To separate
Nothing.
the
The way
two.
he
Yes.
sang it, there was nothing different.
Yes, it's his song. He can decide to sing it.
He
30
gave
years
permission.
later.
He gave permission. So,
Yes, he
but,
gave
but
permission.
even if you want to sing it, even if it's 50 years later, do something different. Not the same,
No.
rhythm, the same
Listen,
everything.
yeah,
No.
listen, he gave you
Make
that
yours
song.
different.
He said that is the original version. I mean, like, it's my song. And why should I remix my song that I gave somebody else?
Because it's already been identified with that person.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, and if you give the person a song, then can you take it back? I mean,
No, he did. He lent him the song. He didn't say.
He borrowed the song.
He did.
After making so much money off the song.
Two-Face came to him and said, "Bros, cut soap for me now."
cut soap. So he decided to use the whole soap, and then his was watered down.
Yeah.
But it's his song, really. I think it's prerogative what he does with it. If he wants to sing it backwards, he can sing it backwards. If he wants to sing it as-
That would have been a nicer twist
If you want
to
to-
the song,
If he wants to-
rather than sing it the same way Two-Face did.
So maybe you should give me something
Yeah.
right now because I just gave him an idea. You understand? So maybe we should monetize it. Anyway, well, that's just these artists and singers, songwriters, and singers and whatnot. They have their eccentricities. You understand? So I think maybe it's an ego trip. you know, to claim ownership.
They're actually involved in, they're at loggerheads at some point,
Okay.
you know, and but I don't know, I think blackface, I just don't understand, because even Face, when he, you know, left the group, he did something
Yeah,
for
he did
himself.
something. He
He
dropped-
made something out of,
he
you know,
dropped
his own
something,
career.
yeah.
Do you get? But blackface, it was difficult for him. So I think he took it hard. Yes, he took it hard, and
You know, I think the problem with sometimes with these groups is, you know, when you're in a group, everybody does what he does. You understand? You probably have a producer who makes the beats. You know, you have somebody who writes the songs, and you have somebody who.
and then
sings
it's the
the songs.
teamwork that makes it stand out.
Teamwork makes the dream work. You understand? So you come together and you do this. The producer lays down the beats. This one writes the lyrics, and this one sings
Yeah.
it.
So it's
You
not
know?
clear exactly what's providing the spark.
Exactly.
People
So
have
but
to-
when and when they leave, because if I am the singer, I can go and have somebody write songs for me, and I can.
Yeah, sure.
You understand?
Yeah.
If I am the beat maker, I can go and make beats for other people. You know, you have people like Khalid who actually do the beats, bring other people in, and it's my album.
DJ
you
Khaled.
understand? All he does. He shouts DJ Khaled with the
With
best.
the best.
Exactly, and it's his album. You understand? I think Jimmy Jack did something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And then with SARS, the producer, he does that too.
You understand?
Yeah, sure,
So
yeah,
you
yeah.
gather all
Stars
the
on the
people.
beats.
Jazzy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Give them the beat, and it's my album. But what happens to the little old songwriter? Because nobody really knows. You don't listen to a song and go, who wrote this song?
No, you pay the
You
person off now.
understand? Exactly. So that's what happens. You understand? So I think that is what happened with the blackface, two-face
Okay.
face thing. You understand? Because I think he's more of a songwriter. You know. So that's why the other guys were able to still continue doing what they were doing. But because he was, you know,
But you know, the thing is, I feel even as a songwriter, he could have actually made more of himself and his career by writing songs for them and other people.
well, maybe he does, but he just, you know.
Are you
it's
sure
just-
it does?
It's
I
just
don't
like
think-
what I said. You don't hear a song and go, who wrote that song? You don't go, who
No,
wrote
but
it.
everybody
You go,
went, who
sings.
wrote that song with African Queen, because the lyrics actually stood out.
Yeah, absolutely.
I said, oh, this song makes sense.
Yeah.
At least if a Nigerian sings a song that makes a lot of sense, you ask.
How many Nigerian
You would
songs-
ask.
how many
Yeah, no,
Nigerian
you know,
songs make sense?
you would actually
How
ask.
many Nigerian songs
No, but
make
that's
sense?
even why, you know, the rare song that does make sense
Mm.
then raises the question about who wrote it.
So, you know,
But still,
Yeah.
just we all know, we all listen to songs, really, if we're actually going to be honest. You can listen to 10, 15, 20 songs, maybe you might find two that we might, okay, fine, these lyrics are actually fantastic. I want to know who wrote this. Maybe I might Google it or something like that,
Okay.
But you don't go, who sang
No,
this,
that's
who,
true.
who wrote this song,
That's true.
immediately
So-
you hear something.
But that's why for a songwriter, the driving motivation can't be about being well known. You know, it has
Yes.
to be about impact or
Yes.
getting the music.
But you-
Impact,
but you
that's
still-
the key.
But you still have songwriters that actually are fantastic, but yeah, well, maybe I might not put in that.
okay. Oga Devil's Advocates, thank you. We'll go on a quick break. We'll be back.
There's always two sides, I keep telling you. There's always two sides.
We
to it.
will be back. Stay tuned. Okay, all right. We're having so much fun in the studio, as you can tell. I'm smiling from cheek to cheek. All right, so still Daybreak Extra on Trust TV. Still on Gossip Report card, by the way. Talking about Speed Darlington. Speed Darlington came into the limelight after singing songs that don't make sense. Talking about the songs, that's the lyrics itself, the beats, the voice. It was a no-no for a lot of people.
Okay.
A lot of people, but he still actually had a fan base, but not so much. When you just go to the studio and then you just sing rubbish. Those are the kind of songs. Yes, those are the kind of songs they actually sing.
Rubbish is another man's gold mine.
Eh? I come through like bang da da dang, like bang da da dang. Those are the kind of songs, no meaning whatsoever. And a lot of people actually seem to like, the rubbish he put out. They seem to find him funny, and they see him as a clown, by the way.
He has his own fan base.
Yes, because, okay, and even his video, how once you drop a song, you just go into the studio and record the video and everything.
Yeah.
His video was rubbish as well.
Why are you trashing this guy?
I'm not trashing, I'm not trashing. I'm actually being... Do you love Speed Darlington?
No, I wouldn't necessarily say that, but I think, we're speaking from our own subjective perspectives, right?
Yeah.
And from a lot of people's perspective, he's great.
No,
which is why
I've never heard of one person.
but
I've
you-
never
you-
seen or heard one
You
person.
may have not heard or seen one person that likes him. You understand? But they're definitely
they're
other
clearly
people.
out there.
Exactly, they're clearly out there because if he doesn't have his own fan base, if he doesn't have people that actually buy his stuff, he wouldn't still be in business. He still wouldn't.
He's
be
not in
doing what
business.
doing. Of course he is.
No, he's not.
We're talking about him.
When
now.
was the last time he dropped his song?
Fine.
Eh,
No, honestly, I didn't even know who Speed Darlington was.
Exactly. My point, exactly.
You understand? But that's just me. You understand? That's just me.
But
I
Speed
know-
Darlington.
Well, I've heard of him, yeah, and there's also probably younger people who really, really like him a lot.
Exactly.
So it might also be a generational thing, where in fact he appeals to people of a certain generation, but might not appeal to people of a.
Did you know that he actually came to Nigeria last year?
Okay.
He came for a show.
Okay.
He came to Nigeria.
Yes. Oh, yes, he did. Yes, he did. He came to Nigeria for a show,
All right.
and it did not trend.
Really?
That's how bad it is.
No, that's not.
The only time he trends is when he says something nasty or stupid on, permit me to use that word, on social media. And then he has actually come out with something. He said something, and that's why it's trending now as well. He said, how Nigerians abroad, come back to Nigeria and pick wives? He said he will never do that.
Okay.
He said he believes the best thing to be done is you come back to Nigeria, marry the girl, set her up here,
Okay.
go back, hustle, keep sending money for her and the children, That way, your relationship is intact. Because by the time you take a Nigerian woman abroad, she begins to feel, ego sets in, she begins to feel like you're the same. And there's actually a rule or a law in the US that states that if a man is violent against you, if your husband is violent against you, and he has a green card, that if you report to the police, that those are actually grounds for you to also get a green card and run away from him or leave him.
I
So
see.
this is the reason why he will never bring a Nigerian woman abroad.
So quick question. All right. You and a woman, you're living abroad. You are the person who has the green card. Yeah? She's living with you. Okay? And she accuses you of being violent. And she gets a green card.
Yes.
But yours doesn't get taken away from you.
No, you have a green card already, so.
But,
So you're a citizen if you have a green card. So why would it?
So that's the thing.
You'd be penalized, but.
Yes. So that's the thing. I mean, like, so he makes really good sense. Yes. That's.
So what kind of relationship is that? Distant marriage?
Yeah. No, but I'm also like, what does he really stand to lose in that situation? I mean, is he just trying to prevent a situation where there's the person he does violence to gets nothing out of it?
No, not really.
He must be a violent person to actually say that.
He's not saying that he's violent. We're not saying that.
He must be.
fidelity-
Why did he insist? Because what he said was, when you set her up, have someone watch her.
He gave an
her
example.
every
He
move.
gave of course,
it's-
so that she will not be,
Kafarako, you've started.
She'll not be playing two sides of the fence.
But it's also
What about
a
him?
Very, very
Him?
specific example, a worryingly specific
Example about violence?
Yeah, that necessarily.
Well, that's just an example. He's just giving an example.
In order
You know,
to make his
we're not
point.
saying that he's an abusive guy. We're not saying that he's a wife beater or.
I won't be
or-
surprised
or-
if he
or-
actually
or he's
is.
a violent kind of person against women. You understand? But the thing is, he just gave an example. He gave a specific example of this is what happens when you bring a woman to this particular place. You know, so. That is something that you should. So he makes sense.
But you know, the funny thing is, most men who live abroad that I know of, they always come to pick a wife because, and they take them there. Do you get? Because most times, even the Nigerian woman they meet abroad is a no-go. Do you get?
In what sense?
Yes, because they feel like when they bring someone from home, they're calmer. You know, their heads are straight. You know, and
Okay,
everything.
But speed is just telling you that once they spend some amount of time,
No, but it depends on the person
their
as
head
well.
will they touch.
It
So
depends
that's
on the
the thing.
person.
So maybe
Yeah.
I think he was probably speaking from a position of experience, past experience.
I know someone who said the reason why he won't marry a white woman is because most times there's no actual love between them. Do you get? You know, they meet, you know, they fall in love in quotes, you know, get married, have kids, and the next thing she files for divorce. If she's tired of the relationship, she files for divorce and she gets everything the guy has worked hard for. And that's the reason why most Nigerian men abroad avoid them.
But that's also about the kind of contract you sign in the first place, I guess. You know, if you have a prenuptial agreement, I presume that then that
How
Yes,
much do you have for a
actually-
prenup?
that
And that actually protects you. Yes,
from
that,
Did
that,
you
that,
get-
actually- that
Yeah.
does protect you from.
Yeah,
from
it
a-
actually
from a lot
does.
of things.
So,
So
yeah.
most of us, I think most of the guys that go there, we go into these kind of things blindly, and that's why we get bitten
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
end of the day. But
That's
really,
part of
if
it.
you sign a prenup before you get into these things, you're protected. If she likes, she leaves. You know, everybody takes what he brought to the relationship and to the
But when
marriage.
you say prenup, doesn't it apply to men who have wealth?
A lot of money.
No, I think you can sign it regardless.
Exactly.
And also, you know, it can protect the woman as well. So if the woman gains a lot of wealth after the marriage,
Exactly.
But if they know that, why do they still go ahead, you know, without a prenup?
You see, the thing is, some people feel, okay, fine, we're in love and we want to get married, and then I say, okay, sign this paper just in case we get divorced.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
like,
It's very
you know,
unromantic.
Exactly,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It kills the vibe, you know, So a lot of people don't like bringing that thing up when the marriage is about to happen. So besides, we're drunk with love, so we just go, and at the end of the day,
Yeah, but I
when-
think the idea that if you take your wife abroad, then she's going to somehow develop some kind of strong head. I mean, it might say more about the man as well, you know, that you want somebody who is senile or very overly submissive.
Yeah, very submissive.
You know,
And those ones, in most cases, end up being worse.
right, you know, that's not a recipe
Those
for a good
inexposed
relationship
ones.
either.
yes,
Yeah.
when
Because
they,
one-
when, they,
yes.
when they start getting exposed,
Voila, today.
things go crazy. Things go crazy. But still, I think speed makes a very good, very good point.
Why wouldn't you think so? All right, we'll move on to the last story on Gossip Report card. And it has to do with how residents in Lekki, you know, a few days ago lamented the invasion of monkeys in their homes. Let's have a look. but wouldn't it be nice to actually have monkeys as pets in your home?
No, not for me. Not for me.
Not for you.
No, not for me.
Okay, so do you prefer cats? Are you a cat person or a dog person?
Not really.
I asked a question. You said
I'm a
not
pigeon-
really.
He's more of a pigeon.
I'm a pigeon person.
Yeah, no monkeys
Cat or
for
dog
me,
person?
No, both cats and dogs are fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
I
Okay.
guess more dog probably than cat. But
So apparently these monkeys actually, there's conservation around where they were.
Okay.
So they left and they started invading. I think it was hunger.
Yes.
Yes, it's
exactly.
hunger that made them leave, because if you look at it, they smelt food, went straight to the kitchen. And there was another video that, I actually saw of one of the monkeys going straight to where the bread was, eating part of it and, taking some and then leaving. But then what they did was the monkeys didn't just go back to, where they came from. They actually removed the whole bread and dropped it for the monkey to, finish everything. So it must be hunger. So is it that they're not being fed where they are?
Well, it all depends. Are they being kept in an enclosure, or are they allowed to roam free?
Exactly. That's
it
another
seems
thing.
They probably were allowed to roam free. It's possible that they were actually.
But not so
a bit
far from
curious.
the conservation that, they invade people's homes.
But then they can climb, and because Lagos is so populated and houses are so close to each other, it's very possible that the conservation center was also very close to residential area. In fact, it has to have been very close to residential area.
Yeah, definitely.
So then it means they didn't have very far to travel.
So imagine this happening at night when you're sleeping. You wouldn't even know it's a monkey.
Exactly, you won't know it's a monkey.
You wouldn't know it's a monkey. You'd actually think, it's a robbery attack or something. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what you said. So that's why you should keep pigeons.
It must have been scary for them.
Maybe it's. One could also see it perhaps as a good sign that
what?
nature is nature is healing. They
No.
used to say,
Nature is taking back. That's like Planet of the Apes. I mean, like, come on.
I know, but in our context, unfortunately, with the rapid pace of development that we've pursued, we have devastated the ecosystem, the trees, the wildlife is dwindling. So these are rarer sites than they used to be, and that's a shame, actually.
You see why we need a researcher here?
Yes, it is. It is quite a shame, really, because in our attempts to live, we have actually destroyed the environment, and we've made it what it is right now.
Yeah, which is part of why conservation centers would then have to be located in residential areas.
Most likely because there's no place for them.
There's no alternative, and these were probably areas that ordinarily would have been left set aside for natural parks or large expanses that these monkeys can play in and roam in and even find their own food.
But do you know, if not for the fact that, there's lots of insecurity around, if you're driving, you'd actually find a lot of greens, a lot of land where these, wildlife can actually, live
Thrive.
or thrive.
Yes.
A lot.
But a lot of that land some of it is farmed, some of it is grazed. So human activity is present in a lot of what used to actually be fallow land that's left alone, and the patches of land that are forested in the country that are kind of dense canopies of forest are slimmer and slimmer as we're cutting down a lot of those trees. So these animals have very little terrain left. To some extent, we are the ones encroaching into their land.
Exactly. We have encroached into it, and even if we have these places that the conservation places that are actually kept, 10, 20, 30 years later, somebody is going to come and sell it for real estate. Everyone start building condos and whatnot. So that's the problem. You understand? So where would they go? They will invade people's houses because that's the next best thing. Unfortunately now, when they start invading people's houses, people will start eating them, and that means they'll go extinct. That's the problem.
Yes.
People will start.
There was actually a particular trend on Twitter some days back of people killing alligators, you know, what do you call these lizards?
Or monitor lizards.
Monitor lizards,
yeah.
you know, and eating
Oh yeah, I
like
know there are
snakes and all
delicacy in
that.
certain parts of.
You understand? There was this video, I think a few years back, I mean, like of a whale that actually washed up on the shore in Lagos.
And then they
They-
nama.
Yeah.
They kept cutting
They had
and
fish
cutting.
for days.
I'm telling you.
You understand? You know?
Yeah.
But in situations like this, you have people coming to the beach, gathering themselves, pushing the whale back inside the ocean so that it can go back and continue its life.
No, but this, I think it washed ashore dead.
Oh, so this one had died.
Yes.
In that situation.
But why would you eat dead meat?
No, the one that I saw, I don't think it.
Are you
was dead.
sure?
Yes, I don't think that whale was.
How?
Dead. That whale was not dead.
Was it moving? Was it flapping
Yes,
its fin?
That whale was not dead. That whale was murdered. You understand? That whale, they wailed on that whale. They
Non-natural causes.
lynched it. It was not natural causes.
Yeah.
It did not die of natural causes. You understand? So that is the kind of perception we have towards wildlife like that. You understand? Instead of us to preserve the life, we start thinking about it as food.
I actually hope the meat or the fish wasn't resold.
It definitely will be.
Yeah.
You know it will be. You probably ate it.
No, I didn't. No, I was in Lagos.
Bro,
Come
you
on,
ate
I
it.
did. You did. Since you saw the fish, since you saw the whale, you know, moving, murdered, being murdered, you ate
You
it.
probably ate that whale as well. So those are the kind of things I mean. Like, so we're devastating the environment. The animals have nowhere to go. You know, they're going to start coming into our houses. We're going to start eating them.
Yeah.
And before you know what's happening, you have things going extinct left, right, and center. Every day you see a list. You have new animals that are actually going extinct.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and yet, you know, one hopes that this kind of developing interest in the outdoors that you see in Nigeria is not widespread. You know, it's probably amongst middle class people living in cities.
True.
But one hopes that kind of develops into much more of an environmental awareness, a wider concern for biodiversity and this sort of thing. You know, so maybe that can hold some hope for a future where we will have spaces that people actually conserve and respect. And you know, to some extent, one of the benefits of this conversation about insecurity that has grown is that people are much more aware of forests now. So maybe there's a silver lining in there that, you know, eventually people will start to think, well, maybe these forests should be taken care of in such a way that they don't fall under, you know, they don't fall victim to
Honestly,
either
because
human or
they're abandoned.
Yeah,
They're
you know,
basically
actually,
abandoned.
I just found this out yesterday. You know that most of these forests are actually put under the Ministry of Agriculture because they are the ones who actually have. Yeah, they're the ones who actually have rangers. You know, where they were.
Oh, there are rangers in Nigeria?
Yes, they're actually supposed to have forest rangers that look after these.
And there's a National Park Service as well.
You understand, and these rangers are supposed to be able to take care of these forests.
But the hunters do the looking after, don't they?
Well, so that's the thing.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Maybe most of the rangers are actually the hunters, most likely.
Yeah,
You
well,
understand?
but it's kind of like having a referee with the player.
Exactly.
Because, you know, the hunters are going there to kill.
Exactly.
You know, actually.
To kill
And that's
the
why you
animals.
need the rangers there to stop
protect
them.
the
To
animals.
protect, yes, exactly.
To
So-
protect the animals,
Yeah.
you understand, to conserve the ecosystem and what. But you still have these hunters going there.
I have never in my life, in my 1 year of living, seen a ranger.
You have
Never.
never seen a forest ranger.
But have you,
In Nigeria.
But have you been into the forests before?
Exactly.
Maybe you go regularly. Maybe you go to the forests.
Have you gone on a hunting trip?
So that's the thing. Is
Have you ever gone on a hunting
It
trip?
would be hard to see a ranger if you're not in the
Maybe
forest.
they're there in the
Yeah.
forest.
Maybe.
And you haven't gone
A
to
big
the forest.
maybe.
You understand? I won't say that they're there because I haven't been to the forest.
I've passed
I've
through
met,
the
I've
forest.
met rangers before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
because
Do
you
they-
have
do
gone
they-
to the forest.
wait, do they wear
This was
uniforms and
research.
shorts
No,
and
absolutely.
everything?
Yeah, they do.
Oh,
they do.
wow.
And do you know
What's the color?
So I met green. I met a ranger.
Green
in,
and brown?
Yeah, or brown and green. Yeah, with a cap.
Oh.
Yeah, I met a ranger in Cross River State. There's a national park there. In fact, I think it's the biggest. It was the second biggest national park in the country, and he was very professional. He knew a lot about the flora and fauna. You know, he could describe trees, you know, plants in quite a bit of detail. So I was actually positively surprised by his level of professionalism, but at the same time, you know, he complained of classic things, underfunding,
Exactly.
you know, and just not really having the necessary resources to cover the the terrain that he was given a responsibility.
I actually didn't know that they were there. I just found this thing out yesterday. You understand?
Yeah,
That was when I found out that there were supposed to be rangers that are looking after these things. And, well, but just like we talked about, I mean, like with insecurity and whatnot, I mean, like having these rangers stay there, you know.
It's very risky.
It's very, 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 very
he
risky.
complained of that as well. And,
So,
you know, that in fact he much preferred to be, say, in Cross River than elsewhere.
Exactly.
I think his original posting was in Kaduna.
So you understand. So you understand. So
not
imagine being sent to that kind of place, because I believe, and whoever is sent to those places will probably not go. He'll probably resign before he goes
Definitely.
to any of these places.
So
you understand?
I mean, this is maybe a dark twist, but I've heard that some people say that the insecurity in the forest is actually probably good for biodiversity because no one is eating the meat. No one is eating the meat.
but the bandits are there.
Yeah, but they probably aren't hunting. You know,
Are you
they
sure?
probably aren't eating
They
bushmeat.
could.
So where they could be.
They could be, but still, you know, the thing is, it's not just about the hunting or the or what. The bare fact that they are there
Yeah, the presence
upsets
Yeah.
the
The whole-
balance.
yeah, it
fire
does.
and
Exactly,
all sorts of
the
things.
movement, sound, noise. It actually upsets the balance for these animals. So they'll have to move elsewhere because they want as less human contact as possible.
Yeah,
You
very
understand?
true.
So
but it
we'll-
could be good for the trees. I mean, you know.
Yes,
yeah,
it could be good for the
if there's
trees.
less logging, loggers are
less
more
logging.
afraid.
You know,
And felling of
and lots of
trees.
lots of places actually enact laws that actually outlaw
Like
felling of
Kaduna?
trees. Exactly, like Kaduna. You're not to, you know, there's no motor.
And I'm sure it's actually it's majorly because of the insecurity, trying to clamp down on bandits, you know, within the forest.
Exactly.
That was
So it's
why.
not really about the environment, but at least it's helping the environment.
Sure.
You
Yeah, so that's the
understand?
silver lining. I'm
So, but
pointing
what
to.
happens when, you know, all the bandits have been clamped down
Now
on?
then we go back to
Then we'll go back to
felling
felling
trees.
trees.
We'll go back to felling trees. You understand?
One helps
You know?
exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I guess as you're pointing to, maybe that's one of the silver linings of insecurity is that we just become more aware of the country in general, its wider sets of resources, and then hopefully that sparks a desire to want to protect not just the human beings that are here, but also the nature and all that.
All right. I think with that, we will wrap up the show today. Yes. Thank you so much, Saeed Hussein, our researcher.
Yes, our in-house researcher.
Yes, for being our guest on the show today. You
That
know,
was
we
delightful.
will definitely have you some other time.
Great, I'm glad to come.
All right. Thank you so much for, you know, tuning in. It's been awesome. It's been fun. It's been fantastic. But we'll be back again next week, same time, at 7 a.m. on Daybreak Extra, only on Trust TV. I remain Dashan Husseina Usman.
And I'm Ibrahim Yusuf. See you all next week.